Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to iAllegedly. I've got a good one for you today because we have, back by popular demand, Bob Kudla, who this was spur of the moment, buddy. So thank you very much. I was filming in Central Orange County, and Bob said, "Hey, can you meet me at the Ritz Carlton in half an hour?" And I did the Three Stooges to get down here. So
He was only 30 minutes late.
yeah, okay, thank you. So sorry about that.
No worries.
Anyways, our theme, Bob says, for 2026 is going to be volatility and rotation. And there's going to be a lot of stuff to cover today. But thank you so much for
Yeah.
inviting me, and thank you for being here. And I know everybody's happy. But first things first, as we were walking down here, Bob showed me one of his charts that one of his subscribers compiled over the course of the last 2 years, and how you just shredded the S&P 500. And that is absolutely stellar, guys. So I'm going to get that to you guys. So Trade Genius is Bob's trading platform. And for those of you that have done the webinars and done Trade Genius, you just know that Bob's the go-to guy for all this stuff. So thank you for being here. But
Yeah, and not only the S&P 500, we also lapped the Nasdaq, and we lapped the small caps too. So I just showed you guys. If you followed all the trades that I post, and you did the equal weight on them, and you followed the ins and outs, which are recorded ahead of time. I can't change them. They're locked. Is that you would have more than doubled your money with Trade Genius since the beginning of January. It's not for me. I was shocked. My customer sent it to me because he was checking us out, and he just said, "Because I'm just blown away." And then we've accelerated since of October this year, and the reason being is a new algorithm that we're coming out with that's going to be released here, gosh, in the next couple of days, as soon as Phil gets back from vacation, and it's even a better tool for people to use, and we think we hit it out of the park this time.
yeah, one thing Bob will do is Bob's going to give me the bundle codes for his Trade Genius platform. And we'll probably set up another webinar soon, won't we? Don't you think? I mean, I
Yeah,
appreciate you doing that for my audience.
yeah, we
But
had gosh, it was we filled it
yeah,
last time, and people asking if we'll do it again. But yeah, sign up for our service, and I think you'll really appreciate it, and also we'll do a training event too, Dan.
good, good. Okay, so much to cover. Okay, let's talk stocks right now. Where do you think in January? Where do you think we're headed right now?
Well, right now is a little Thelma and Louise because Trump's he's basically burning the boats, and he's not letting people back to Europe. So, but this was expected. If Trump said nothing these last 2 weeks in January, we call this the the sell, the buy, and the dump. So these next 2 weeks are a little sketchy. We're going to get a pop into early February, and then late February into, or middle of February into late March, is that we should get even a lower low than we are right now. The only thing that I don't know is how intense the selling is going to be, because Trump is just basically calling everybody out right now, and we could maybe get our flush for the year right now. So we just have to kind of wait and see. Now, however, having said that, uh, my portfolio was up today. Our customers' portfolios were up today because we were in energy, gold miners, silver miners, uranium miners, and we've been out of tech. In fact, we've been shorting tech in our hedged high yield funds, and we were green. We're like,
Well, that's the
what
one
sell
thing,
off?
as we were talking down, as we got reacquainted coming down the hill, we were talking about, what you're getting out of. And tech is what you're, in early 2026, you're steering clear from right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Palantir and Nvidia were the poster child um, into 2025, and before that was MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's blown up right now with Bitcoin, and then Nvidia and Palantir are gonna take some pretty deep swan dives this year. Not because they're bad companies, not because they're not making a mint, not because they're not growing. It's just that they've been way overbought, and they're going to come down probably another 30 or 40% before you can buy them again. And what happens there is that they're the bellwethers for a lot of the indexes. So, of course, is selling in all tech names because the indexes and ETFs get sold off. So, um, you know, in this business, you have to be like water. You go where the money's flowing, and the money's flowing into commodities right now.
Okay. let's get into silver and gold. Now, it's funny. I've had silver sponsors on the channel for a few years, and it's only gone one direction. That's up, and I still think that there's a lot more to go. And my agent's interviewing different silver and gold companies right now to come back to the channel. And I personally, I haven't sold any. I'm not going to sell any. I think that I am of the belief, and I want to remind you some things that you've said on the channel, where the sky's the limit when it comes to silver. And I don't think we're at FOMO yet. I think that we're just at institutional buying and the threat of the banks selling these margin call shenanigans that we're being told. I don't think we're at that point yet. I think that we're just at the beginning of the craze right now for silver to take off.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's that silver is the deepest beach ball in the portfolio pool. It's been basically pushed down since the Hunt brothers, and now that beach ball is flying to the surface right now. And the other thing too is it's not only a monetary metal, it's industrial metal, and you now have companies like Samsung just bypassing the silver banks and the futures markets, and are going directly buying the metals directly from the miners.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked at one bit if a company like Tesla doesn't go right in there and just buy some mines out directly. These guys have so much money, and so like Samsung's working with the Mexican miners right now, and so that's putting the pressure on the bullion banks. And I wouldn't be surprised if I think it might be a Swiss bank that may just go tits up here, in probably the next 6 to 9 months, because they won't have enough cash to cover. So what happens in the silver bank, if they don't have enough silver, they can pay you out in cash. Well, they eventually run out of cash. And if you're the last one asking for your silver back, you'll get nothing. They'll go bankrupt, just like happened with Volmageddon about 8 years ago.
Now, I had heard the big number. First, I heard it was 75. Now I hear it's 100. Is 100 the magic number for some of these people with a margin call for silver? And if it is, you're talking about not 3 billion, not 5 billion. I've heard numbers as high as $300 billion that these banks just don't have. Is that accurate, or is it higher? Do we have any way of knowing that?
No, that's the problem with these things, is you never know when you're in a what's called a Sternett wave move, like we are in silver. You only know the top after the fact. So we don't know. See, at some point they'll just throw their hands up and say we're bankrupt, and then all the people that were expecting the to get paid out are going to get nothing. And the thing about it is, if you're dealing with a bullion bank, you're dealing with, like, could the Swiss government fall, right? Who's backing them up, where they can just let them hang? And then all the people that were invested in silver. Remember, you could be long silver with SOV and actually go bankrupt. Okay, that's why I tell people, do not, do not ever buy a paper silver ETF. I only buy the miners, and if you want physical, you can get physical. And if you want physical, you better own physical. Sprott is okay, but hey, you know what? With the war we have going on with Canada right now, the Canadians may say, well, if you're American, you don't get your Canadian silver. So you guys got to be really careful.
Could you imagine Canada doing that? Now,
Yeah,
here's the thing. Sprott's a great company.
look what he just did. Cut a deal with China, right? These guys. He's a globalist, and you see America being surrounded by these snakes. So, but one thing though, never mind if I didn't lose my train of thought on this, is that I also put together a PowerPoint presentation that I PDF'd. I'll get that to you too. Just give it to your listeners.
We'll put
These
that
are
in
12 companies that are either U.S. based, or if they're not U.S. based, they have U.S. assets, and they're all in the space that things you want to own. I own most of these names. I don't own them all, just because some are duplicate, same industry. But you'll recognize some of these names. But you absolutely need to have a portfolio of some sort with these names in them over the next 5 years. You're looking at, in 2030 and later, there's not enough uranium in the world. Zero. Not enough uranium in the world.
You've got the geniuses in Germany that shut down their nuclear power plants and now realize they have a problem. Germany's a den of idiots as far as I'm concerned. They made Lexus, think about this, dismantle and turn off the auto turn on for your ignition for your car. So if it's freezing outside, you can't, turn the car on from the inside of your house because the pollutants are so bad to warm up your car and turn the heat on in advance. That's lunacy. And
Yeah,
those are the people in charge of everything, and that's why that country is going down. Will be the next Sri Lanka. Don't mark my words.
yeah. Germany's going to probably go right on the next election. I think people are just done with it. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to tell people I'm German heritage because Germans are usually pretty logical. And I have a really, really good friend that is German, um, and they go back every year, back and forth. And they just said they're just fit to be tied. They go back home and they're just screaming at their neighbors back home. If you lost your collective minds, they live out here in Orange County with me. And they say you lost your collective minds. What is going on with you people? And it's going to take a lot of people going um, unemployed. If you notice, the red wave in Germany is coming from East Germany to West. So I think at probably the next election, that's why they're so desperately trying to censor everything, is because they don't have a message, so they're trying to suppress the message. France may go right too. So, and then
Well, the Labor Party may be out in the UK too. That's one thing we've heard it all. So
it just what makes you want to pull your hair out. And I don't have any, I'm losing it, so I don't want to pull out any more than I have to. But
okay.
look, we talked about this before, is
Mm-hmm.
that when you have a chaos, there's opportunity, especially trading. I love this market. The more volatile, the more money I'm going to make, and so you want to embrace this. And this is where you always complain, oh, I wish I would have bought that stock at this price. Well, you're going to get an opportunity to buy those stocks at this price, okay? And you're going to be really happy. At some point, Nvidia and Palantir are going to be screaming buys again, but in the meantime, man, just enjoy the ride in commodities. And who cares if you get some big drawdowns now and again? You're in the wave right now, and this wave's 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the making. It's not. It doesn't end this year. They can't stop it. They're out of games right now.
Okay, that's a great point. They're out of games. Okay, Bob runs a platform called Trade Genius. He's always nice to come out here. At the last webinar, everybody that purchased the webinar, he gave a free year of Trade Genius, but it's incredibly cheap, and you always give me um, an incredible deal, the best deal of the year, always the Black Friday stuff to give to everybody. So if you guys want to take advantage of Trade Genius, I will leave the link below for you. And one other thing is Bob's going to start posting on newvideos.com, and he's going to list some. I asked him for a couple things, some of his charts, and some of his best dividend stocks that everybody seems to like and everybody seems to ask for. But we will get on the schedule another webinar soon. But let's finish silver first. Could we see $150 an ounce silver?
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. It doesn't take much. If you think about it, when silver was at $20 and somebody said silver's going to go to 100, that's a 5x move.
Mm-hmm.
Well, silver at 75 going to 150 is only a 2x move. Okay. So it's not going to take much more. And the thing is, too, is that the people that are shorting this thing are getting more and more desperate. They're going to have to buy it out, and there's just going to be the pain train is going to be unreal for them. I mean, they will blow up. And so we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
We had a bank last week, TDS, that lost $607,000 in 2 days of trading, thinking that it was going to drop dramatically, and they lost. So there's that. Now the next thing is gold. Do you think gold's going to go well above $5,000 an ounce?
Yeah, I think gold will actually cross 10,000 here in the near future. So
10. You and Jamie Dimon.
Oh, is that what he said too?
Yeah, he said it could easily see between $5,000 and $10,000. That would be very, very easy to see that.
Yeah. He scares me. I usually try to trade against him. So
man of the people. It's funny, when he made $36.5 million, I could relate to him, but he made 770 last year, and he still calls himself man of the people. So the highest paid banker ever, the first employee to make $1 billion. Don't ever forget that. So he does have a few things for him. I just, come on. Okay.
Well, Jamie Dimon and Chase Bank, you don't listen to what Jamie says. You watch what Chase Bank does. Okay, because he was spitting about Bitcoin a couple years ago. It's fraud. In the meantime, he had all his wealth managers signing their customers up for Bitcoin. So he does that stuff.
Also, they're going to have a Chase coin. You know that it's going to have his mug on it probably. But
there's going to be a Chase stable coin too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay. Let's talk about energy. I mean, you still, with gas prices down and oil prices down, you still see it going up right now. You still see, I know that that's your biggest play in your family's portfolio. Is it still the biggest play in 2026 for you
Oh,
guys?
for sure. And the Venezuela thing is that's 3 years out because they can't increase their production, and that production has to go to the U.S. To be refined. So we'd have to add refining capability and capacity too. So that's not going to add any supply. If you look at the charts say we have a potential of 150 to $250 oil. Uh, I don't prejudge that. I just look at it every day. But during this time, ExxonMobil is breaking out of a rectangle. So as you know, we've been in ExxonMobil forever. It's going to go from basically right now it's bouncing at 130. Broke the rectangle is 150, 155 is next, and then if you call me when it's there, I may not answer
Okay.
because we'll be a really happy family.
Okay.
So, but I kid. It's so don't let that stuff scare you. You got to remember these integrated oil companies. They're deep in new exploration. They literally have all of South America now. They have Guyana and they have Venezuela and those companies. And when Russia-Ukraine war ends, ExxonMobil will be invited back into Russia because they know all their equipment's there too. So ExxonMobil is like a no-brainer to own. And you have Chevron and you have Oxy, and then there's one other one I forget off the top of my head. But you want to own at least one of those four
Is it
in some way,
BP?
shape,
Is
or
it
form.
Texaco? Is it?
I forget the name, but I'll get
Okay.
it to you.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. Just Chevron, Oxy, Exxon, you'll be fine.
Okay. Okay.
And oh, by the way, that Venezuela move, that's probably why Carney went to China. We don't need Canadian high sulfur oil anymore, so we just block that, and it's very expensive for them to get the oil from Alberta out to British Columbia to get it to China, and the Canadians aren't going to sell it as cheaply as the Venezuelans are selling it to China. So we basically out Carney here a little bit, and this whole deal with he did with the EVs, he has Ontario Ford, the Ontario Premier, just livid because he goes, who's going to buy our cars that we're making here in Ontario?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see, and like I said, this causes all kinds of chaos, and it's just going to be a wonderful environment.
Okay. So volatility is good. Volatility and rotation, and we're going to see things turn over. Okay. Well, let's see what else. Crypto.
Copper,
Okay, copper. Your
FCX,
copper's crazy right now as
yeah,
far as the price and the theft. I covered the theft about 3 weeks ago. I mean, it is nuts what these guys are stealing to get money. How someone can walk in with, anything from, a plaque from a hotel like this to different things, the manhole covers, all these different things that they're ripping out of the ground. It's crazy, and
yeah.
no questions asked. They just give them a check. So
Well, the FCX is going to double from here, so we just added that today. It's been it's double topping, but it's double topping in what's called a a years long inverted head and shoulder pattern, and it measures out to a double over the next year. So FCX, gold and copper mine, and it's definitely hasn't been performing at the level of the metals. So I think there's the suppression there that's giving way now, and there's a chance for a double there.
So one thing that's with these EV cars, when I went to the CES show and spoke to the people at Samsung, and they were talking about their salt battery and the silver and everything that's involved in that. It is, the goal is to get longer distances and longer, better performance out of these batteries, but they just use so much silver, and it's so expensive, and they know it, and they're, like you said, they're getting creative, and that was the word that they used in the booth was we're going to be creative in the next 12 to 18 months to make this a reality. And again, you could see these companies buying their own mining facilities and just merging and just taking over these places and funding exploration if they think they've got a hot spot.
Yeah, I mean it's $3,200 at retail just for the silver and the batteries. Forget about the other metals and the engineering that goes into it and the markup. You're looking at it's 2 kilograms of silver in a battery. Amazing, and you're still talking 2 ounces of silver in every solar panel too. I think it's going to go until the graphene comes into play, and then so there's no really good
Well, they've been
graphene
talking
plays
about
right now.
graphene for 10 years now. It's coming into play.
Yeah.
And when I was in the medical space, graphene was a big conversation piece with different things with technology. And again, that's the thing, guys. The industrial uses, the medical uses, antimicrobial, antibacterial, all the uses of silver is it's just the greatest reflective product. It's just doesn't pick up germs or anything like that, and it's needed. But some of the stuff's disposable that they have to burn through and try to recycle. And that's going to be a huge business too, is the recycling of the silver and getting the metals out of these different products too. That'll be interesting.
But yeah, it's amazing how much money you can make if you just it's just too tedious for me. But computers are worth more now scrap as they are operating now with some of the metals in them.
One thing that you've taught me, and I have to give you, it's a real compliment, Bob, is that as much as this seems very convoluted and it seems so difficult, you have a really straightforward path in your investing. And there's a lot of things that you do that everybody's heard of that's in their households, in their portfolio. It's not some wacky weird thing. It's not like graphene. That's a perfect example of something people don't even know. Graphite, no, it's graphene. It's totally different, and people have no idea what that is. Most people don't. So, your portfolio is pretty straightforward. What do you think about the utilities and stuff like that right now? Is that not a big deal with the energy cost? He's bored with it. Okay, that's fine.
There's nothing. I mean, look, I can make 30% just selling high yield ETF dividend plays. I'm not going to screw around with the 7% utility play.
Okay. Okay.
And that's net. My daughter.
How's she doing? She's still doing. You still doing the thing for her?
Scary. I just did a year-end review with people. So she, from January to December, this is $101,000 portfolio. We started at 109 for the year. Okay. So from 109, she ended the year at 101, so that's minus 8,000, right?
Okay.
And then she picked up $52,000 in dividends. So 40% return on investment.
And she paid her rent with that. Isn't that what she uses to pay her rent and her chair and her business?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. She doesn't tell me what she spends it on, but that's what she needs it for.
Okay. Well, that's good.
She's not kicked out. She still has her office. So,
yeah.
So I'm assuming she's making the payments. But yeah, I pay her out $1,000 a week from the the portfolio, and I post it every week. So people listening that are customers, they see it. I post it every week. I show people, hey, this is what her portfolio did this week. Oh, and this is what she dividend. She makes most weeks she makes more than $1,000 a week, but we just put it into a cash bucket on the side, and then. But yeah, that's how much I paid her out.
That's fantastic. Okay, let's go Bitcoin cryptocurrency.
Oh, by the way, if you're a customer, I give you her positioning. People copy it all day long. You're just on your own with it. I just share it as a public service announcement to people. Here it is what she does.
Okay, before I go into the crypto thing, okay, when you sign up for your service and people are in the chat, they can chat with Bob. They can chat with your crypto guy. They can chat with your whole team. Is that right?
Yeah, they can chat, and there's a VIP room you can actually talk to me. So when the market's open, 6:30 to 1 is the general market hours. Is that I'm there pretty sure every day from 6:30 to 8:30 or 9. Then I usually take a break till the last hour or so of the day, but usually Phil comes in at that point, and it works the rest of the day for us. And so we kind of go back and forth. I put all the trades out. Phil puts all his trades out. We put them out on our Discord. It gets recorded. And people ask me questions all day long. What about this? What about that? Can I do this? Can I do that? Hey, I can't get my indicator to work. Can you fix that? Whatever it is they want. So you can chat or you can talk. There are two different levels of service, right? So if you want to talk to me, it costs more than if you want to just get on the chat box.
Understand. Okay, crypto. It seems that Bitcoin is just hovering in the low 90s right now. Am I right about that?
Yeah, look, crypto has proven itself to be basically a proxy for high tech. So until it breaks that and it becomes a monetary hedge, it's going to struggle. And then once that happens, then Bitcoin will get its sea legs again and move higher. So that's why you see gold and silver and oil, all those things are running, but tech's down, Bitcoin's down. Well, they seem to be tied together.
Okay, so I mean, do you still think that we could see $200,000 Bitcoin? Is that possible?
Anything's possible. It's just that I always hated the hype around Bitcoin because it's unknowable. So when everybody tells you for sure it's going to do this, don't listen to them.
Okay.
Just don't listen to them. I think what you have to look at is that right now everybody is their liquidity is going into gold and silver right now. Okay. And so, but big money is slowly accumulating Bitcoin. So at some point, they kind of seesaw each other. So when gold and silver take a break, then I think you'll see Bitcoin move. But we don't care. I have a buy signal that'll tell me when to get more aggressive in Bitcoin, and so then I'll let everybody know. And then Phil looks at it from a long term macro standpoint. He's still negative on Bitcoin, so we still got to fight our way through a couple more months. Maybe we get as low. I don't want to scare anybody, but we can get as low back to test that breakout of 2 years ago at 68,000 before we move higher. But it doesn't mean it has to. We just can. And so people have to be open to that. And so I was never a hodler. I was always a trader. I never owned Bitcoin itself. I only traded the Bitcoin ETFs. And I made more money than most Bitcoiners than doing that because it's easy to get in, easy to get out, and you can actually sell calls against it too, so you can monetize your investment. Where it's a little bit more difficult to do that with Bitcoin if you're holding it.
Very cool. Okay. Well, let's do that. Okay. Don't forget Trade Genius. I'll have the links below to sign up. Bob will have discounts through Dan. He always does that through Dan. We will announce a new webinar soon in the next couple of weeks. We'll do that. How about that? And
yeah.
So, something soon. And
let's get together in 2 weeks and just do a quick announcement.
Yeah, well, very cool. Okay. I will make sure that Bob gets set up on newvideos.com as well. And I'll have him drop some of the dividend stocks that you guys love and anything else that he wants to. He's like, oh, show me how to set my account up. So it's very easy. And you guys want to get a hold of me right now, iAllegedly at Gmail. And thank you for the idea of doing this. It's brilliant. And I'm glad I could just rip down here. And I'm sorry if you had to wait long. Okay.
I'm teasing. It's
Terrible.
he has to come all the way down through Orange, through the. You come down PCH.
Oh no! I came down the 5. I was in Tustin today, and filming a video, and it just was crazy, but perfect timing. So
good. All right.
Okay, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And 2026. Remember, it doesn't matter if it's volatile. You can still make money. But check out Trade Genius, and thank you, sir, for doing. I always appreciate this. Everybody loves this stuff, and they're going to be shocked when they get the surprise video that comes out. So thank you so much. Okay, I appreciate it.
Have a good one, everybody.